think he's the most underrated pro bodybuilder of all time. That probably if he wasn't in the Baba for so long, you know, that they would, you know, give you the credit that you deserve in IBB.
Thank you.
So, and this is not just my opinion, but you know, most of the purists in bodybuilding that like symmetry, shape, aesthetics, what bodybuilding should be all about.
Thank you.
You should have an Olympic title. Anyway. I didn't actually know that he trains in this gym, so it's you know, good.
Yeah, right. A few times.
Well, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead. Of course, yeah.
In all my seminars, I just want to make sure that nobody would leave this room without having every question answered. Okay, so we are here for that. You know, so by the end of the seminar, whatever you have, you know, please don't hesitate. You know, I want you to have your money's worth.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to switch the phone so as it doesn't ring. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cheese ready, Charlie.
It's a good idea.
Sorry?
Cheese ready.
Yeah. All right. Who'd like to kick off?
Okay.
You've competed. I mean, what do you do to get back into training or you know, put the side on? Because
I'm not sure I got it now or before.
before when you competed
Yes.
after a show, what would you do to get back into training?
Well, you see, you know, for me, I don't know if you're familiar, I competed 110 times. 110. Yeah, 72 times as a pro, and actually, once I started competing, I consider we are pro bodybuilders, this is a job. And if there's a contest, how can I say, today I'm taking a day off. So really, when I started in 91, I did every show, 92, 93. Then 94, I actually paused a little bit, because at the time, they were going with these mass monsters, so I chose to, you know, do some appearances rather than competing. But again, like 97, 99, I did all the shows they organized. For me, as I'm going to talk to you about my view on bodybuilding, it's not ever off-season and pre-contest. You know, like you, off-season is an excuse for people, you know, to be off, not to, you know, watch their diet, you know, to eat big, to get big and all this stuff, which is bullshit, you know, let's face it. You don't want to get big, you want to get muscular. So if you're going to gain 20, 30, 40 pounds, and 75% of that would be fat, what did you do? So for me, this is why when I competed, you know, your metabolism is enhanced because you're doing your cardio, you're training twice a day. I train twice a day. Actually 550 times per year for 15 years straight, which would be like 11 workouts a week. But you know, this was a habit. That's the job. So it was never really you know, question, should I go and train? You know, it's just a job.
What I mean is you don't want to burn yourself out, so you need to step back a little bit after a competition, but still keep the.
No. As a matter of fact, you see, I think immediately after the competition is the most important time to utilize, to gain as much as you possibly can, instead of, okay, now I'm done, so I'll take it off. I have a very good competitor here, is John Thurston. He just competed twice in the last few days, and he was in tremendous shape. And for something like this, there was like so strict with the diet, right? And we went, as you can imagine, ketogenic diet, very low carbs. But then, you know, he got so lean so quickly, then you could be ate up into the contest. You know, so right now, for next, he has a wedding pretty soon. He wants to be in shape, so he's going to continue, you know, now eating much more calories, but continuing to train. And I'm positive that he can pack 10, 15, 20 pounds of lean tissue.
So off season you should stay what, within a stone and a half of your competition?
I have no idea what the stone. Many times I hear 1 stone.
Within
14 pounds.
14 pounds, yes. Yeah, probably.
10 kilos, within 10 kilos.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I really, for me, it was not acceptable. You see, let's face it, nobody wants to put body fat, right? So my idea of dieting and training is, you know, like, if you know what you're doing, every single day you can have fat burning phase. Come on in. You can have a maintenance, and then you have anabolic phase. Yeah. Here's.
Bishop is coming.
Hello.
No one wants to come to the front. Come to the front.
All right, everybody, good.
Yeah, so just to answer it again, my concept of dieting, off-season, pre-contest, everything is the same. If you need to lose body fat, right, then you have to have a fat burning phase in a day. Usually that would be the first thing in the morning on empty stomach after so many hours of fasting. You wake up in the morning, you do the cardio, which uses fatty acids as a fuel. 100% guarantee you had no nutrients. There is no fat floating around from your dinner or from a breakfast, right? Body fat is going to be used. So if you do cardio on empty stomach, 1,000,000% guarantee you're going to lose some body fat. You can check, okay? You started the day with fat burning. Then you analyze your next 24 hours, and you eat meals accordingly. Let's say every 3 hours, like most of us do, and you eat sufficient amount of protein, right, in each meal to maintain or increase your muscle mass, and then you put energy that you can afford. Now, if you don't have a body fat to lose, then you can have either carbs or fat, right? But if you do have some more body fat to lose, then you have to be on a ketogenic diet, so protein and fat, until it's the time to train. When you're training now, anaerobic type of training, weightlifting, uses glucose as a fuel, not fatty acids as aerobic. So at that time, if you do not have a glucose, carbohydrate, right, you're gonna convert some protein or amino acids or muscle tissue into that glucose to give you that energy for work. So contrary to many people that are close to the contest, they would cut all the carbs. I would always have a carbs meal before, I had it during, and immediately after. Because if you really analyze it and understand it, every muscle contraction uses glucose, right? And you don't have a glucose available. Glycogen storage is very low. Protein has to be converted by process of gluconeogenesis. Glycogenic amino acids can be converted into glucose. So that very valuable, expensive, not so great tasting protein is going to be converted into the cheap, very tasty glucose that you could eat and enjoy. And this is, for me, probably why I competed 110 times. I never had a problem dieting. It was not diet per se, it was eating habits. So, I can go specifically if any of you have and girls also, girls you have to pay close attention because I have something to share with you guys. So glucose and carbohydrate is not your enemy during a training. And a lot of people would say, you avoid every carb, you don't need it. You don't train with weights to burn fat. I have this question all the time, oh yeah, but if you boost your glucose and insulin levels during a training, you blunt your growth hormone and you stop fat burning and stuff like that. You're not training to burn fat. You do the cardio to burn fat, right? Now, you can, if you're analytical, you can actually burn fat during anaerobic training as well. For example, I was here in Nottingham 2006 in the University of Nottingham, Professor Greenhoff, I believe. Yeah, Paul Greenhoff, he did a study. He used Vitargo and L-carnitine, right? And he was proud to say that he's first to prove that glucose-driven L-carnitine can be accumulated in cells. And as you know, L-carnitine in mitochondria of the cells burns fat. So it's indirectly, right? You don't really, do this for a purpose. You don't train and push glucose for whatever reason to burn fat, but if you already have a transporter, glucose, in your blood, why don't you put L-carnitine in during your training, and it's going to be driven into the muscle cells and burn fat. So you can do that as well. So so if you understand my concept, would be fat burning phase, Then meals in between would be maintenance phase. So how do I do this? For girls, for guys, I would take your basic metabolic rate, right? Which it's very easy. You can go on the internet and find Harris Van Dyke formulation, or just type BMR calculator. Ask you for age, height, weight, gender, and it's going to tell you how many calories your body would burn in your state of coma, which means in absolutely non-active state. So, for example, if girls would be 15, 16, 1700 calories, that means you're burning that many calories just doing nothing, laying down. So then imagine if you do 1 hour of cardio, 1 hour of training, 1 hour of blah, 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 and just being awake. So your probably caloric requirement would jump up to maybe 2,500. But you're competing and maybe your coach puts you on 1,500 calories or 1,200. I've seen diets under 1,000 calories. Yeah, quite often. Which is malnutrition, suicide diet, very counterproductive. You're going to shut your hormones, you're going to shut your metabolism, you're going to have all kinds of problems with every beauty aspect from skin, hair, and everything else. And being so deeply in catabolic state, you're going to accelerate aging. And this is also another thing that no woman wants. If I may mention, because I had a lot of clients, and one in particular was very famous. And Charles, I promise I'm going to give you time to speak also.
No. He's the knowledge, right? Listen to him. No, it's all.
In the Monica Brandt, do you guys know who is Monica Brandt? Yeah, okay. She was many times on the cover of the magazines with me, 93, 94, 5, 6, 7. And I constantly watch her. She brings the Tupperware with a little bit of salad and a little bit of chicken and eats like a rabbit, really. And she was always somewhat overweight, right? I mean, if you look at the pictures, that was far away from what figure competitor at that time should be. And because we were friends and keep asking her, like, okay, what is your diet? 1,300 calories, okay. And she was doing 1 hour of cardio, 1 hour of gymnastics, because it was not figure, it was fitness. Back in the day, they have those routines. 1 hour of training and 1 hour of rollerblading, like 4 days a week. So, and I told her, I'm sorry to tell you, but you will never be in shape. And she was really, until the 97, never won any contest. She was popular because she was in the magazine, but she was never really in shape. 98, she came finally to work with me, and I doubled the calories, 2,500. She started crying. I said, I can't do this. Yeah. So you can imagine you girls probably know that better. If somebody would tell you to double the calories, you would freak, probably. Pass out. So she started crying all this, I can. So I explained her, okay, look, we're gonna do specific nutrient timing. You're gonna just eat something before your activities, and that activity, when you explain her, it's gonna use fatty acids, you use glucose, you can have it, but we're gonna boost your metabolism this way. To make long story short, there was 98, she won Miss Olympia 98, and she was, and still to this day, is always in shape. Because she applied that. It's eating so much more, especially if you're so active. This is something that I've seen with most of the ladies, and ladies are much stricter than the guys. Yeah, ladies are training much harder than the guys as well, because you have that pain threshold tolerance, right? You can really go. I know when I train ladies and I do some crazy giant sets, I literally think what is impossible, right? So I design this and they finish it every time. Yeah, so, okay. You wanna jump into that? Sorry.
No, you've covered it. Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, so to summarize this, because you were asking, I do believe, and here is another of my, Lawrence is a client that is competing this year later. So for his height, we need to pack much more muscle mass, right? very symmetrical, shapely. But like, to be competitive nowadays, with this height, you have to pack. So yes, we are in off-season cycle, right? But still keeping it lean. Yeah. And in the bombing, trying to drive as many nutrients as much. I mentioned that I was training 550 workouts a year, right? Now most of the guys, they have 4 workouts a week or maybe once a week. I mean, training is anabolic opportunity, right? This is what happens. So for me, if I want to put size on somebody, I would put as many workouts as possible. I don't know if you followed my theories and what I'm known for. I believe in a hyperemia advantage system, which I developed. What does it mean? Hyperemia is increased blood flow, right? Increased blood flow to the muscle only happens when you're active. So if you just imagine, girls have about 4.5 liters of blood in the body. We have a 5.5, 6, right? Right now, we are all sitting doing nothing, maybe 10, 12, maximally 15% of that blood would be in the muscles, right? When we train, 60 up to 70% of that blood is going to exact muscle that you're training. So if you, analyze, okay, now all this blood is going there. So what can we accomplish? What if we saturate blood with all the nutrients, they're beneficial. So all the essential amino acids, branched-chain amino acids, creatine, glutamine, citrulline, beta-alanine, L-carnitine, anything you can think of, right, that would be beneficial is going to be in the blood, right? That blood is going to be sent to exact muscle that you're going to train, right? If you put glucose in any kind of carbohydrates, that's going to also trigger insulin to be released from the pancreas. Insulin is a storage hormone, right, in the blood. Whatever element is going to be there is going to grab and put in the first available cells of the first available tissue. Blood is where? In the muscle. So during the training, this blood is going crazy, through exact muscle fibers that you're training. Every muscle contraction opens up the cells, and cells that are ready for uptake. Amino acids, glucose, ATP, everything can be like nailed, right? So for me, that's like golden opportunity that happens only during a training. Now, if you go into the books of exercise physiology, they will tell you about hypertrophy, how it happens. You basically train on empty. You lose all the ATP, cellular energy. You lose glucose, you lose amino acids. So you create micro tears of the muscle fibers, right? You drive your body into deep catabolic state, which now is going to trigger your body to supercompensate, to send back to those same muscles that lost all that, so much more. But this was catabolic state, right? So you drive your body, to lose first, so you can replenish and build more. When I started training in Yugoslavia, right, there was not much literature or books about it. But I was fortunate to have a father who was Dr. Science of neuropsychiatry. He was a brilliant man. And when I told him about my concept of training, which I learned in exercise physiology books, he started laughing. And then he told me, okay, son, let's take a sledgehammer and let's, every day just, crash this house. And so we can rebuild a bigger one. And then again, and then a bigger one. So I didn't understand his sarcasm, but he told me, do you understand that instead of, creating catabolism, which is destructive metabolism, you can actually, be anabolic, constructive, during a training. And in medicine, really, if you look, any doctor is going to immediately scream if you are catabolic patients. This is like urgency. They have to get you out of catabolism. Bodybuilders, girls that train, drive themselves into the catabolic state daily, which is counterproductive. It's really, if metabolism is result of all the catabolic and anabolic processes. So you have protein degradation, you have a protein synthesis. So if you have a -3 plus 4, the result is 1, right? And so on, different numbers. But if you shut this off completely, 0, and you can anabolize maximally, this is how you can really achieve maximal results. So, and I'm here open for questioning, and if you guys disagree, by all means, or exercise physiology recommendations and stuff like that. And then I realized, okay, if you logically think about this, right? You step your foot in the gym, girls gonna train glutes, hamstrings, shoulders, whatever, right? So they're gonna have all this muscle contraction, mind-muscle connection, right? They're gonna feel it. And then they're gonna actually visualize it. Now, all these essential amino acids they took, is gonna go exactly into the muscle they wanna build. Well, with some glucose, ATP, creatine glutamine, BCAA, EAAs, this insulin is going to shove all this exactly into the muscle that just did that particular step. So first, you don't become catabolic, unhealthy. You become immediately anabolic. Purpose of your training is accomplished. You have driven this new essential amino acids that you have into the tissue. Now just, if you don't understand the concept of essential amino acids, there are 20 amino acids in the body, 8 are essential, and those cannot be manufactured by the body. So those you have to take, absolutely. Isoleucine, leucovorin, methionine, threonine, phenylalanine, lysine, you have to take it. This is why if you're vegetarian, doctor's going to tell you, you have an incomplete vegetable protein. Incomplete referring to not all the essential amino acids available in the right amount. But if you have all the essential amino acids available and as much as you need it, non-essential can be manufactured by the body immediately. So if you imagine the chain of 20, right? And now you're making a muscle tissue. And muscle tissue is a huge chain of thousands of those amino acids. And you have all the essential ones in place, body just manufactures the ones, non-essential ones, and the protein synthesis is made easily. If you don't have some of those, let's say these 2 essential amino acids, you stop the process. Your body could, make it if it was available, but it's not available, so you just stop that process. Yesterday I had with Sylvie, we had a RX muscle radio, is going to be tomorrow. Actually, I mentioned to Dave Palumbo that if anybody asks me what is the most valuable supplement anybody can ever use, is essential amino acids. And especially like for girls, I would like to emphasize what essential amino acids are doing. Your diets, right, are usually made of high protein, so probably chicken, turkey, fish, lean beef, egg whites and stuff like that. Protein powders, right? So why do we take all this protein? Not for a protein per se. We are taking this, as you've seen, animal type of protein because have all the complete protein, all the essential amino acids available. So, but when you take 200 grams of chicken breast, you have maybe 40, 45 grams of protein, but you also have 5 grams of fat. Or if you would have a steak, it would be a little bit more. So you have that, collateral damage, right? You have a fat that you didn't want, but you're taking because of this protein. But not really. You're taking chicken and turkey and fish, or whey protein or casein or whatever, to get essential amino acids from that protein. Even more so, non-essential amino acids, if you have too many, can be easily converted into the glucose. And this is something that, especially if you take a fast protein like whey, and Dorian Yates approved CNP, right? They did those studies like more than 10, 15 years ago when whey protein was so popular. I think Brian Batchelor put some studies. If you have too many grams of whey protein, immediately. You have that hyperaminoacidemia, too many amino acids are floating around. 18 out of 20 are glycogenic. And then depending on what your body needs, and it's always, first demand of the body is energy. So if energy is needed, those amino acids are going to be converted into glucose. So to just, cut to the chase, if you ask me, should I take chicken or turkey or beef, egg whites, whey protein, casein, or some mixture protein, or essential amino acids? I would always tell you, take essential amino acids. First, you're going to cut down dramatically on calories, so you can afford eating more carbs or more good fats. I'm not saying don't eat protein, don't eat chicken, but to really understand how valuable are essential amino acids, I do believe that it's going to be in the future, maybe 50 years from now, when people finally start thinking, realizing that you can have a concentrated essential nutrients, what you need. And out of macronutrients, we have essential amino acids, we have essential fatty acids, and there is no essential carbohydrates. But that doesn't mean that they're not needed. It just, essential means cannot be manufactured by the body. Body can manufacture, everything, as far as glucose and carbohydrate. So, this is, something, what I do with my clients, and he knows, and John knows, in between meals, like I would like them to take some essential amino acids in between. So if you have a constant flow of amino acids in your bloodstream, then any metabolic and physiological process can be done. So your body never compromises. So really, all of us should have that goal, right? To have a sufficient amount of essential amino acids throughout the day. Energy, you can manipulate. One day you can be in deficit, one day you can be spot on, one day you can be above, right? And it's good if you especially training for competition, you want to go to lose body fat. If you would just go deficit, you would take every day less that you need, your body's going to slowly shut down to reach that new level that you eat. But if you, let's say, for girls I do like 300 to 500 calorie deficit. For guys I would go maybe up to 750. But one day would be 750, second day 500, third day I would go just above normal, and then I would play. Depending what is your condition, how many weeks you have, this is how you manipulate, right? But if you guys dieted for a contest before, you probably know if you just every day you have like strict and low calories, you're going to start losing muscle, guaranteed. It's just inevitable. And not just that, but you're going to shut down your metabolism as well. So this is basically
Basically
concept.
cycling the carbs.
Yeah, cycling the carbs.
Days up,
Yes. So, be practical. Let's say a competitor, we want to focus on, let's say, legs and back. He has great back. Let's say something else, arms. On legs and arms, I would, have those 2 days with surplus of the calories, even during a diet. So these two, because I want him to be as anabolic as possible on those 2 days. On these other 6 days, I would, go deficit, more or less, depends how much he needs. But this is, like every day is really opportunity to improve. And I hope you understand, I'm not here to, talk some nonsense, spend 2 hours or whatever else. I'm here really to share what I do for 30 years, and hopefully if you get one thing that you can use, probably it would be worth listening. So, that's the whole concept.